Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to make a beautiful arrangement in a glass vase. So this is one of the arrangements that we have over on our website, and I thought that I would make that with you. Now I am using a container that we are actually recycling. So here at our flower shop, we always offer the opportunity for you to bring back vases. If you are planning on just tossing vases or taking them to the Goodwill, we would be so happy to recycle your containers. And so we have had the wonderful opportunity to recycle lots. We often will put that on our social media pages and say, if you have containers that you don't need anymore and you are looking for a place to get rid of those, you are always welcome to bring them to our flower shop. You do not have to worry about cleaning them. We will be happy to clean them and recycle those. So today we are just working in just a simple recycled vase. I have filled it with fresh water and added a little bit of fresh flower food into the container. Next we're going to come in with some baker's fern or leather leaf. I am going to take my floral knife. This is my handy dandy floral knife that it's really just a paring knife. I ordered them off of Amazon and they have been such wonderful tools. I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem of that leather leaf at an angle and plop it right down in my vase. And I am just going to kind of crisscross these stems in this vase and go all the way around with that leather leaf. Now if there are any leaves that aren't pretty, go ahead and be sure to pull those off of that stem. It's not hurting that container at all. Let me grab a trash can. I always try to drop my trash in the trash can if at all possible. Often, if you have ever looked at a flower shop, you will see how messy we truly are. I will often tell my husband, honey, I am an artist. Because artists are messy and I am an artist. Okay, so I've gone all the way around with my leather leaf there. Now, I am going to come in with some foliage that I actually went out and harvested. This is called coralberry. It just grows here at the flower shop. I'm going to take a few of these stems using my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, remove a couple of those leaves. Now you always want to be sure that that greenery does not fall below that water line. When it does, it just aids in the growth of bacteria in the water. So you want to try your best to keep the leaves out of the water. Now when you're designing, if you see that some of the leaves have fallen into the water, don't worry. It is completely okay. After you have designed your arrangement, be sure to just go and change that water out. Pull all those flowers out, holding them in your hand. Change that water out. Give it some fresh flower food, and that will help keep that water clear. Now, if you will change your water every other day, it will help keep your flowers fresher for longer. If you'll just pull those out, grab them by the stems just like this, dump this water, give those stems a good cut if you can with a sharp pair of scissors or snips, and change that water every other day and those flowers will last longer for you. Next, I have added all of our greenery. Next, we're going to come in with some line flowers. I have some beautiful bells of Ireland today that I'm going to use as my line. Now I am going to take and strip off some of these bottom blooms. Again, you don't want them to fall below that water line. And then I like to pinch the leaves out of the tip of the flower. If you like the leaves, you can absolutely leave them. I just think that it gives us a cleaner line if we'll pull those leaves out. So I'm going to take my first stem. I'm going to tuck it right into the center of the arrangement. Again, I'm pinching those leaves. I'm removing some of those bottom blooms. Just strip those right off. Cut that stem at an angle. And tuck that pretty bell right in. Now I am going to use 3 bells of Ireland here. Again, I am doing exactly the same thing. Pinching that tip, stripping off that bottom bloom and tucking those flowers right down into that vase. So there are our 3 stems of Bells of Ireland. Next, we're going to come in with our Solidago aster. So Solidago aster is a filler flower. Now, a lot of people will say that's goldenrod and I'm allergic. Really, Solidago is not what you're actually allergic to. It's another weed that's growing. It's not really Solidago. It doesn't really release pollen like other weeds that grow. Now, Solidago aster is one of many asters that are harvested for a filler flower. We really enjoy using Solidago here. It's long lasting. Yellow goes with most everything. I'm going to take my stem, cut it at an angle, and I am just going to kind of tuck it throughout this arrangement. Now, a lot of people like to use their their filler flower last. I like to go ahead and tuck it in. And the reason being is that it helps me keep all of my flowers standing up straight. Just kind of fills in with some stems down into that vase. All right, so there's our Solidago aster tucked in. Next, we're going to come in with our focal flowers. So today our focal flower are these beautiful bright Gerbera daisies. Look at how happy those Gerberas are. So you're going to look at these 2 flowers, and if you'll look at them closely, the bottom bloom is slightly larger than the top bloom. When I'm designing with focal flowers, I like for the larger bloom to be on the bottom, the smaller on the top. Now, really, it's not. It's because visually this bloom looks larger than that bloom. It looks heavier, okay? And so that's the reason. I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and we're going to tuck that beautiful orange Gerbera right there in the front. I'm going to take my second stem. Now, I need it to stand up above this stem, so I'm not going to cut too much off of that stem. Just slightly trim that stem and then tuck it right down into that vase. All right, there's our 2 happy Gerberas. Next, we're going to come in with some roses. I had someone the other day, speaking of those Gerberas, I had someone the other day on one of our social media platforms ask, do you wire your Gerberas? I only wire my Gerberas when it's necessary. It's not always necessary to wire Gerbera daisies. They don't always have to be wired, so I do not wire them unless their heads are really dipping and I need to manipulate them a little bit. But I do always wire my roses. So this is kind of a peachy coral colored rose. I am taking and removing these guard petals. So the guard petals are kind of a green color. I'm removing those guard petals, and then I am going to use my floral knife and remove those thorns. I just like to take that knife and just run it right down that stem and remove those thorns. Now, I like to try to leave a little bit of the original foliage on that stem, if at all possible, because it didn't cost me any extra, and often it's pretty. But you try to remove any of the foliage that might fall below that water line. Remove those guard petals. Now, the reason I like to remove the guard petals is often people do not understand that those are guard petals. They think that the rose is dead if it has kind of wrinkly green petals. And so I often will remove those guard petals strictly because people don't necessarily understand guard petals. So that's the reason I do that. Next, I'm going to wire these stems. So here at our flower shop, we try to wire all of our roses using a 21 gauge. This is half of a stem of 21 gauge wire. I'm going to take it and press it right into the calyx, which is right below the rose. It's that little swollen green part right below the rose. And then I am going to wrap it right around that stem. Take another one, Press it into that calyx, wrap it right around that stem. You can even use 1/4 of a stem of wire. You don't need tons of wire. Let me tell you the reason I like to wire them is because if this arrangement ran out of water, it got low on water, the stem's not touching the water often, these stems will get dehydrated. And when that happens, the stem cannot support the heavy head of that rose. And so if I wire it, that head is always gonna stay up, whether it's well taken care of or not. Next, we're gonna take our roses and we're gonna tuck those over on this side of the arrangement. So I'm gonna take my first rose, I'm gonna leave it tall. We're going to tuck it right down in that arrangement there. Take your next rose, tuck it right under, and then my third rose, I think I'm going to leave it, it's not real tall, I think maybe over here, we're going to tuck it there. All right, the next flowers we're going to use are these beautiful pink spray roses. So these are called Pink Babe spray roses. You will see us design with some orange babes. Really, really pretty spray roses. These are the pink variety. I am going to take and just tuck these throughout this arrangement. Look at that hot pink with those orange. I think pink and orange are such beautiful complementary colors. They just work so well together. All right, and then the final flower that we have are these beautiful royal purple Lysianthus. I have the sweetest friend who is a flower farmer. She grows Lysianthus, and let me tell you, if you ever see a Lizzie growing, you will be in awe. It is so, so pretty. So I'm going to take my Lizzie. I don't know if you noticed, but I broke off this bud, and I'm going to have 2 insertions using this Lysianthus. Take your floral knife. And we're just going to kind of put this Lysianthus kind of throughout this arrangement. Strip off those leaves. And then I'm going to add these 2 little buds here and there. Now to finish this arrangement, we are going to add some ribbon. So let me go and grab the ribbon for this arrangement. This one rose has just a little bump on it. I just removed that bruised petal. Give me just a moment and I will grab some ribbon and I will be right back to finish designing. All right. So to finish this arrangement, this one piece of greenery was all wonky back here, so I'm going to move it a little bit. To finish this arrangement, we are going to make a bow. There is a little bit of a void right here in the front of this arrangement. And the photograph on our website does show a ribbon. So we're going to make a fun, colorful bow. So this is a wired ribbon. And it's a hot pink with little tiny Swiss dots. So we're going to take it and I'm going to make 3 loops. So I'm going to make a loop, a twist, a loop, a twist, a loop. I'm going to grab a pair of scissors. I'm going to cut that ribbon. And then on the back, I am going to layer it with another ribbon. This is just a pretty yellow colored ribbon. And I am going to take it and lay it on the back, and I'm going to do 3 more loops. Take a pair of scissors, give it a good cut. I'm going to take a half a stem or half a piece of 21 gauge wire, and I laid it right up underneath my thumb, and then I am going to wire that bow together. There's our pretty bow. I am going to add it to a Koei wood pick, which is a 6-inch wood pick. I'm going to lay that wire and wrap it right around that wood pick. Now, if you don't have a wood pick, it's completely okay. You can use a stem that you used in the arrangement, or even a bamboo skewer that you would cook with. I'm going to take this bow and I am going to nestle it right here below our orange Gerbera daisy, and then we're going to fluff it, and there is our finished arrangement. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We would love to answer your question. Do me a great big favor, if you enjoyed this video and feel like you learned something, hit that thumbs up for me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you'll hit the bell, you'll get notifications for when we have a brand new video. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great day.